Everybody, I couldn't be happier. Welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, we got 54 wins in a row. The last win was quite difficult, let's be honest. JRC1 TXSC. Now, the number one mistake we could make here is assuming that because the last run was so hard, this one is destined to succeed. Full health? You gotta take a stab at that one. So certainly, I do not believe that that is the case. But I will say, our stats are better, and then, you know, Tammy's head and Cricket's body already have a pretty nice synergy working together to begin with. This is a much more, you know, a much more likely start to lead to some degree of success than our last run, without a doubt. Okay, Shielded Tears, I mean, there's positives and minuses there, positives and negatives, but, I'd say mostly, especially if we can get a high rate of fire, we really like this. And it's a good defensive item, even if it can be a little frustrating when your tears aren't getting through as much. There's a lot to like about this one. I genuinely, now that the last run is over, you know, we can take some time to banter. I genuinely thought that when I booted up the game today, I was basically booting it up, like I was dead man walking, right? They were playing taps. I don't really know how taps goes. It's been a long time, I guess, since I've seen a movie with a military funeral in it. But that's how I felt. But I was like, you know what? You gotta do it. It's your solemn duty to take the L on this one, and you'll just have to try to still build the moment of like why you should still watch this series even with no streak intact. And lo and behold, we did it. We got out of quite the jam. We might even be able to get a shop item. Nope. Okay, that's fine. We'll just, you know what? I don't think we will head down. I think we will go to the shop. And then our hope when we go to the shop, I mean, our hope when we go to the shop is 2 luck upgrades and then maybe some items. But the real hope is maybe just buy a key. It's a lot of fun when you go into a room and it goes, nope, you're going into like a different room now. I think that's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated aspects of Isaac. Okay. I think we should buy this, and I think we will buy this regardless. And I don't think we're going to blow anything up. I think we'll just be moving on. But yeah, I really for sure thought we were going to lose last run. And that's... I never sandbag in this game. I think. Never intentionally, at least. You know, if you watch me play other games, nothing gets me more tilted than sandbagging. And you should know this even if you don't watch me play other games, because I talk about it in Isaac all the time. There's nothing worse than, like, getting absolutely destroyed by somebody in a video game where you're worse than them to begin with, and they go, you know, they're beating you 16-0, and it's hockey. It's FIFA. And there's 4 minutes left, and they go, well, you know, I'm still pretty nervous. You can score a lot of goals really quickly. You could really come back from this. No, I can't. Just own it. You're the villain, okay? You won, so you're the villain right now. So I try to recognize the sandbag tendency in myself because I know that it frustrates other people to be sandbagged. Even if it is a PvE style versus AI game like The Binding of Isaac, for example, I very rarely am like, we're gonna lose. That run, I was confident. But you know how we made it through? And it's a blessing in disguise. Now the streak has a little bit more... I've got more skin in the game, you know? I've won a run that took... Let's not say it was at the maximum of our capabilities, but it was getting pretty close to the maximum of our capabilities. So now, having completed that, I would like to think that my ability to succeed in this game has expanded. Yo, another bone heart? You've lost it. You're the one who's out, Gobby. Out of his mind. I would like to think that my capabilities have expanded, and I have become a better Isaac player as a result, and more capable of hopefully... winning in the future. Don't give me enemies. So I'm kind of excited. I'm excited by the way that this has gone down. And it made my day a lot better, honestly. Because, hold on. You know what? I think this is an ample opportunity to just start refilling at least some of these bone hearts, which, you know, we want to make sure we're not... Yeah, we'll just protect this one. We want to make sure we're protecting them as much as possible. So let's do that. I was kind of hoping that'd be Joker, but that was still a good deal. So here's how my day was going to go. You know, I was going to record that Isaac episode, win or lose, and then I got like 2 hours till Checkpoint League, so we're probably going to knock out like some One Step from Eden and, you know, maybe some more Isaac, maybe some Northernlion tries, then Checkpoint League. I'm very happy to start my day off with an unexpected positive. It gives you buoyancy for the rest of the day. It's like if you were looking at a graph of a line, a linear graph, our y-intercept is like huge. It's starting halfway up the axis. Did I say our y-intercept? Look, it's been a while. I know y equals mx plus b, the slope is equal to rise over run, etc., etc. You know, the derivative of 2x is just 2. Of course, I understand all that very basic, you know, 10th grade stuff. Can I tell this? I'm having this revelation live. Because I've just, well, I mean, I didn't just wake up, but, you know, I've been up for like 45 minutes to an hour at this point. And I just remembered that last night, not only did I have my recurring dream, you know my recurring dream, which is that I've gotten myself teaching English in South Korea again, but I didn't think it through. This is real trauma, apparently. I need to go speak to somebody. I think I'm just gonna roll with Tammy's head. Honestly, I'm so starved for having some form of damage after like our previous run where we had nothing that this is amazing to me. I for sure taking Satanic Bible basically gifted us the win, but I think we still got the win pretty gifted to begin with. And let's be real. It's not like we were in trouble on our last run because of hubris. You know, we were in trouble on the last run because the seed was extremely cursed until it wasn't. Anyway. So my recurring dream is always like I'm sitting in like a restaurant in South Korea and all of a sudden I'm like, what the heck? Why did I sign up for this again? I don't even like this. I had a good thing going on back home. But I just remembered that my recurring dream last night has actually evolved. You know what? For the sake of simplicity, let's do this. And it was the exact same dream, except I was also telling my coworkers. I was like, hey, did I ever tell you that I have a recurring dream where I'm teaching English in South Korea? How weird is that? My recurring dream is now happening in real life. The human brain, it doesn't want you to win. I only, like, in my head, you ever have, like, a dream and you just accept that you've had the dream, but you haven't really thought consciously about it yet? It's a weird way to describe it, but that's what I was going through right now, is I remembered that I had the dream, but I didn't consciously think about it, and I'm like, man, that's messed up. Can I just go back to, and I only have this dream, like, once every, I don't know, once a month, once every couple of months. It's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, can I just go back to dreams where you're, like, falling? That's not so bad. It's, you know, to face a little bit of terror and then be like, it's okay, it's just a dream. That's all right. Now I'm getting psychologically owned by my dreams. Hey, remember that period a decade ago where you did a job you didn't like that much? We're gonna keep resurfacing that just to see what happens. It's a social experiment. Anyway. We gulped. We gulped it? What did we gulp? We gulped something. Something has been gulped here. I don't even know what to do with myself here. With a run with some actual damage and some actual defense. Now, I mean, I don't want to spend the whole run here talking about my last run, but to be fair, I did screw over my own defense on the last run by taking 9 lives. I think it... Well, here's what I'm going to say. It ended up being good because we still won. We might have won easier without it, but it is what it is. This is like... This doesn't feel right. To be 10 minutes in and we're about to go down to the 4th floor. Like, did I do something good in a past life to deserve this kind of treatment? I don't understand. But anyway, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Still staying indoors, you know. I'm now at the point where I basically, like, I plan my trips to the groceries. Yeah, even though I'm a very casual guy, and that should be well known. Like, if you ever, no thank you, by the way. You ever, like, you know, watch my streams? I wear like 1 of 4 sweatshirts pretty much every day, and I like it. That's how I like to dress. But I've been inside for so long that I'm starting to have the itch. I'm like, ooh, we're going to the grocery store this weekend to pick up some staples and essential supplies. I better dress up. I'll bust out the button-up shirt and the pressed gray trousers, and, you know, I might even put on a tie. We don't go out that often. It would be nice to kind of it just feels nice to dress up sometimes. No thank you. I do need my own bags. How did you know? That's a joke. I'm still not at that level, but we might be at some point. It's still weird. There's no doubt about that. It's still weird. But everything's going pretty well over here. I got no real complaints. I mean, I kind of feel like just on a bit of a strange sort of like pause button for 2020 so far. Just having a lot of fun. I would just stand there. Just having a lot of fun playing video games. And, you know, it's weird to have kind of like a... And I'll take the damage on that one. It's weird to have kind of like... Let's go. Let's go. Get me out of here. It's weird to have kind of a very positive personal year while the earth is on fire. It's been very strange for me to reconcile that. Here's the way, and I'm going to bring it to something that's a little bit more sympathetic, but allow me to be braggadocious temporarily. I think I can be a prideful individual in some ways. Like, I don't think this is unusual for people, just to be clear. But I am very self-deprecating, for sure. Like, the stuff that I think other people are potentially very sensitive, they wouldn't want people to know about, I'm pretty open with, you know? Like my fears and my hopes and my dreams, and the fact that, you know, I've had back hair since I was like 15 years old. Like, that's the kind of stuff, as a 15-year-old, the idea of getting in front of like maybe 30,000 people and being like, guess what? I have back hair. That's like mortifying. I would lock myself in a bunker and never leave. Now at 31, I'm like, whatever, dude. Doesn't bother me at all. But I'm not boastful for the most part. In Checkpoint League, you know, I'm playing the heel to amp up the entertainment value for sure. But you know, after the event, I'm also checking in with people and I'm like, hey, you played very well today. Good stuff. You know, I'm not trying to blow out anybody's self-esteem. I want to just make sure everybody's having a good time. But 2020 has been like a pretty good year on a personal level. Even, you know, the numbers on YouTube, sometimes they move more than others, you know? Sometimes I have a great month and things are doing super well, and sometimes I have kind of more of a routine month. You know, I'm lucky to have a community that... Can you just let me walk, please? Are you serious? Like, I'm lucky to have a community. And like, luck is not everything to do with it. You know, I've done stuff to maintain it as well, like putting out 500 videos a day, every day since, you know, 2012 or whatever. But, no, I almost got tagged there. Either way, you know, I have a community that, even when they're like, this isn't really my thing, a large percentage of them still stick around and just go, one day he's going to come to his sanity and play something that isn't just Slay the Spire and Isaac. And I recognize the irony, of course, that I'm saying that while you're watching Isaac, but regardless, 2020's been a good year, you know? If nothing else, I'm having way more fun with the YouTube side of things than I have in years, and it's just an attitude shift. And, you know, I've rediscovered, like, my passion for the job and my passion for not just knocking out videos every single day, but making sure the videos, for every ability within my power, at least, are as entertaining as possible. Thank you, Infamy. I always try to say thank you, Infamy. And then, of course, you know, we're also expecting. So that's like huge news. This is a big one for us right here as well. You know what? I don't think we're doing too much with our money. I'm actually gonna buy a deck of cards just to get something to use with blank card, and I think that's great stuff with Mom's Knife. That's, as Daniel would say, that's good wood right there. And then, you know, I mean, even the end of 2019, like, we moved in to this place that we bought, so like it's been like a momentous kind of 6 months for sure. So, you know, lest this be seen as bragging, because I definitely don't see it that way. I see it more like, oh, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of where to go with this that doesn't make it sound callous. Let me put a bow on this by saying this. And I realize I have not made my point very well, but that's just, we'll call that being only half a cup of coffee in instead of 1 cup of coffee in. I've gotten a lot of comments, believe it or not. You probably believe it if you're reading them, that say like, hey NL, I always like what you do, but particularly during this quarantining self-isolation period, thank you for what you do. You know, you help keep me sane. I think we'd rather just have this here. You help keep me sane and like on the level when things in the world are going like a little bit crazy. So I wanted to like say that I appreciate that. Now, I don't even feel right saying that out loud because I just feel like I'm playing a video game and shooting the breeze, right? But I think the more responsible and mature way to respond to that is, first off, you're welcome. This is like one of the nicest things you could ever say to somebody is like, hey, not only do I find you entertaining, but simultaneously, like, you've become part of my routine, and just the existence of your videos is like a calming and comforting experience. That's a super nice thing to hear. Especially as somebody who doesn't make ASMR videos that kind of like are designed to do that. Like, I'm over here, I got a little phlegm in my throat, I'm eating constantly, and you're still getting comfort from that? That's crazy. By the way, I'm about to clear my throat. Don't freak out, it's just a little morning phlegm. It works from 9 to 5, and then... We could bounce, but I'm not gonna. I'm having a good time with the commentary. The other thing that I would say is thank you as well for watching. Not just in a way that's like you complimented me, so now I have to reciprocate, but in the way that's like you guys are keeping me sane as well. Like, if I've already said many times, like I'm pretty blessed in a weird way to be working in an industry that's relatively unaffected by COVID, which I'm not being braggadocious about, but it just is what it is. But then secondarily, if it were not going super well, I would not be as sane during quarantine as I am either. So it's really a two-way street. You know, we're making each other more comforted as a result of the situation. So thank you for that. Hold on. What was this again? It was just the second chariot, right? So thank you. And I'm hopeful. I mean, this video is pretty much in the bag unless something goes catastrophically wrong. And for sure, I feel no need to apologize for this one being super good because after our last run, honestly, we were owed. I try not to have too much entitlement in my life. This is one of the times where I was like, we were owed this one. Really, one of the only items I would bother to pick up here is like Eden's Blessing. But yeah, it's copacetic, you know, there's a feedback loop. I feel good, so I'm able to make a lot of content. You watch that content, and for whatever reason you enjoy it. You leave a comment that goes, hey Egg, I enjoyed this content. I read that comment and go, cool, people are enjoying this content. I feel good. As a result, we're making more content. It's a nice feedback loop. I like where we're at right now. I think we're in a good, steady position. Steady is like is a great word for March and April in terms of describing what my life has been like. It's been steady in Isaac. We're winning. It's been, you know, steady in my personal life. You know, we're at the start of Kate's second trimester. It's kind of like The first trimester, for anybody that's not familiar with pregnancy, is fraught with anxiety, you know? If things go wrong, that's where they tend to go wrong the most. Let's try this. Not to say you're totally out of the woods when you get to the second and third trimester, but the first trimester is like, hey, Kate, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm a little hungry. You're like calling the doctor, she's hungry, what does it mean? The doctor's like, well, the odds are this just means she hasn't eaten food, but there is a very small chance that at any given moment she could explode violently. And you're like, all right, well, thanks for that. Is there anything we can do about it? Oh, just observe, wait and see? Thanks, I really appreciate it. But, you know, once you get past that point, at least the way I understand it, it's not to say there's no symptoms, you know, but you're, instead of being like, I'm nauseous and like, you know, sleepy all the time and dizzy and low blood pressure and stuff like that, it's more like, I'm just kind of like, I feel a little bit icky, but what do you expect? I got a human being growing inside of me. So, you know, we're steady in that regard as well, and, you know, work is steady. And of course, you know, like, extracurricular stuff is steady, because we cannot go outside. So, it's really, like, this is... I usually stay pretty on the level. Like, I've mentioned many times, I'm a creature of habit to begin with. But I'm like insanely routine driven right now. Like I'm down to like a 15-minute timer. Like I don't deviate except for Saturdays when it's my day off to begin with, but I don't deviate by like my daily routine by more than, you know, 15-minute intervals at any given moment now. It's bizarre. No battery charge. We'll just take this and move on. I'm locked in. Sometimes routine is good and I like it. It keeps me mentally safe. But also, like, sometimes routine is bad. You know, it's good to mix it up. You know, I think I need to, in my daily schedule, I think it would benefit me to program in some routine breaking stuff. I know that sounds funky, but like I recognize that being routine driven is, and a lot of you out there are probably like this. You're like, you know, I only feel right like when I eat dinner at the same time every day. I only feel right when I go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. There's a lot of, and I've been on the other side of this, who are like, you know, what time are you going to go to bed tonight? I don't know, dude. What time's the party over? But now I'm more like, well, not more like, I'm 100% like, I must be in bed like before 12:30, and I will wake up, you know, sometime. I'm racing my alarm these days, but usually I wake up around like, you know, 8:39. Not 8:30 and 9 minutes. I mean like 8:30 or 9 a.m. Which is still like, that's a late wake up, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Why do you think I keep having these nightmares about having to wake up in? Well, that's not true. In South Korea, my workday started at 3 p.m. But really, just living in the country was work because I didn't make enough of an effort to speak the language and integrate, so literally accomplishing like any mundane daily task was like incredibly stressful. Which I want to reiterate is definitely not the country's fault. But at the same time, sometimes I do have, people will be like, why didn't you just learn the language? And I'm gonna tell you something straight up. You might not like what I'm about to say. It's always worth learning new stuff if you want to learn it. But like a month into living in Korea, I was like, this is a one-year thing for me. The country, I really like South Korea. And I did, you'd be surprised, but I learned a lot more Korean than my colleagues. I had colleagues that had lived there for a year that literally did not know how to say thank you. Like, they didn't make even the slightest effort to learn, like, anything but hello. This is modestly spiced, but there's some value here. I'm willing to go to there, see what we get. Okay. Tears up is fine. Just don't spice this up too much. Guppy's Paw, we use this once, because there's no reason not to. Maw of the Void is also great. Then we can grab this, then we can Perthrow. We have no idea what the heck this is going to be, dude. The Mark, that's a beautiful turn of events. Look at that. Still got it, baby! But anyway, I knew I wasn't going to be there for more than a year. So I was like, learning the language to integrate as well as possible for 1 year is not really that big of a deal. Now, if I was going to, like, Kate and I have talked about this many times. But like if we, for whatever reason, emigrated to another country, I know it's not that easy, but I would be in language classes like the next day. For sure, I would, like if we moved to, you know, Germany, I would be in German lessons like the day after we landed. Maybe 2 days after we landed, because, you know, you need 1 day to maybe get like a little settled. You know, and figure out the Maslow's hierarchy of needs stuff, like, you know, where do I get food? Probably from the store that says supermarket, but like with one letter different than in English. Anyway. What was I talking about? Okay, so that's why I was lazy and didn't learn the language. You know what I did instead of learning Korean? I basically pumped a lot of time into this very channel you're watching right here. So if anything, you should be like, thanks, NL, you did a great job. Plus, a much better investment. I'm just saying, from a financial standpoint, oh, baby. That was a way smarter move. Now, higher risk, for sure, but anyway. Like I said, I'm not braggadocious. Regardless, I think I'm so slavish to routine that one thing that would actually benefit me, and maybe benefit some other people similar to me, is to actually just schedule into your life some improvisational time. like just schedule some time into your day that is like, during this time, I'm gonna try something different. I know it sounds weird, because it's like, you know, if you're not gonna be, if you're gonna schedule spontaneity, then is it really spontaneity? I'm here to tell you that I think the answer to that question is yes. I think that's one of those, that's like an internet mentality that is like, well, is it really spontaneity if you have to plan it? I think the answer is completely. Yeah, I think it's still, if you go, hey, from like 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturdays, we're just going to go on like a little bit of an adventure, and we're not going to know until like, you know, that morning what we're going to do. Maybe we're going to go to the art gallery. Of course, this is in a post-COVID world, or at least in a COVID-managed world. Maybe we're going to go on a hike. Maybe we're going to go get like a sick brunch, but we don't know until we talk about it that morning. I think that's still beneficial. A scheduled adventure can still be spontaneous. But I just worry, because like, I think I see in myself, and I've talked about this many, many times before. I am not old. I pretend to be old sometimes for jokes. And certainly, I have some older dude tendencies compared to some of my colleagues. But I'll level with you. I'm calling out Bear specifically. Bear is always, well, for years at least, not so much anymore, but he's made fun of me for, you know, I get 7 hours of sleep a night. I do my job every day. And now, he's like a year younger than me. My man is going to sleep at like 11 p.m. and getting up at 7. Now, I'm not making fun of him. All I'm saying is, see? it is all it's cracked up to be. Anyway, but I also recognize that there are positive characteristics to being a mature adult man, and there's negative characteristics. What is the positive characteristic? Reliable, you know? Wise. And I'm not trying to say that I'm there. I'm just saying that's, you know, when you think of like an old grandpa or something like that. Those are the positives you would hope to see or expect to see even. What are the negatives? Literally anything outside of his normal routine is like, I don't like it. Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Do this instead. So I'm trying to continue to try new things, and you know, just even though I love the routine of my existing life, try to mix in new stuff as possible, you know, as necessary, as desired. Now, there is a problem with it. It's not really like a good resolution to have in 2020, because, like, you know, can't leave the house too much. You got to get a little bit more creative, I suppose, but I'm just talking in principle. And that's also why we're talking about more lifestyle, mindset, philosophical stuff, I guess, because I literally, like, I go to the grocery store or the pharmacy like 1 to 2 times a week. And the second time that I do it, I feel bad. I feel like I need to wear like a badge that's like, my wife's pregnant. I know you saw me here 5 days ago, but my wife's pregnant. I have government permission to be here. Anyway, look at that. 55 wins in a row for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!